So consent is a big issue right now. A lot of people are talking about it. And I'm here with Victor Salmon, who has been doing a lot of work on this. Victor, you're from victorsalmon.com, and I'm Kathy Bartoli from theintimacydojo.com. And I'd love, how did you get involved in this to begin with? You have this amazing website with all this information. How did you start getting into sexual or consent education and developing this?
I think a lot of consent and sex educators have a history of working through things with regards to consent and sex.
Yeah.
I think whether that's people who've transgressed against us or whether we've had experiences where we've hopefully inadvertently transgressed against others, I think most of the best teachers come from a place of having done a lot of learning themselves. Mm-hmm. So I have a history of being a survivor of sexual assault myself.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's okay. I don't mind talking about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I also have dated a lot of people who have histories of surviving sexual assault. Mm-hmm. It's a really common thing in society, and I think if you're a person who understands that experience of trauma and coping, you're more likely to attract those sorts of people towards you, or at the very least, they're more likely to be open and vulnerable and honest with you about their experiences, because maybe there's a way that we all seem to sense that someone might understand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I'm a survivor as well, and I love using, if my journey can help someone else, it makes it a little more like, okay, I went through this, I might as well share it with as many people as possible. So thank you for your generosity on that. So I know that in our community, a lot is evolving around consent as we go forward. Like, we know things today that we didn't know 3 months ago or 3 years ago. What are your experiences around that?
It is a river. When you walk into the river of consent, it isn't the same it was 2 months ago, and that's for me partially because I've changed, partially because the people around me have changed, or I'm working with new people, or because society's changed. And I think society has changed quite a lot in the last 10 years, and I think it's harder to see that on a single year level if you look at like what was 2016 like versus 2017. But if you look at 2006 and ask how consent's changed to 2016, I think it's a lot more visible.
Yeah. No, it definitely has. Like, I remember going out on, I hadn't dated for a long time, and I was going out on dates, and if I said no, it was around 2008, I guess. If I said no, that meant push harder or try, like, back off a little bit, but then try again to the people I was dating, the men I was dating. Not so much women. I didn't find that as much. But now if I say no, they're like, oh, I got it. Most of the people I've been dating are like, they understand that is a boundary versus let's try to sneak past this a little in a few minutes when I distract you and kind of slip my hand down your shirt or something.
Yeah, the whole seduction angle of like that whole rape culture steeped men are the pursuers of sex, women are the gatekeepers of sex nonsense.
I still get people, on my YouTube channel, people write in messages, and I love it. I love people are sharing where they really are, but there's a lot of people that say, no, men have to pursue. I want to be forced a little bit. I literally had someone say that, and I'm like, no, like if you want to role play that in a defined container with someone that you've agreed on, that's great, but to tell people that that's how they have to live is not healthy or
no. And that's the human condition, is thinking that other people are more similar to us than they actually are. And when you have people that have consensual non-consent fantasies but haven't been exposed to the kink scene, that's a really dangerous thing.
Yeah, they're trying to enact it with other people, and then it's without. I'm not kinky particularly myself, but people that are, like, I love how they talk through it and they set up containers and safe words and all the things that let it be an amazing experience where they can explore that without harming each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Victor, you have an amazing website on your page, victorsalmon.com. And if anyone wants to go there, victorsalmon.com/accountability is where you can find the main page. What made you start this page?
There was a lot of talk about accountability pods in my community. There are 2 accountability pods I'm currently sitting on, and it just sort of occurred to me that a lot of people want an accountability pod but don't necessarily have the skill set to build one on their own, or need just a little bit of guidance or direction to sort of help them start down the right path, I realized how much need there was for it, and it was brought to my attention that, as I'm sure you know, certain famous educators are being told that they should have always had an accountability pod, as if it's something that's always existed. And this is still very new today. It's something that I think derives a lot from indigenous cultures and a lot from the anarchist scene, and it's really difficult to... I'm just trying not to lose my train of thought here.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really difficult to honor those alternative and marginalized communities while at the same time finding how this type of process can work for us in our unique situations.
Yeah.
Being an educator, not just of relationships, but also of kink, I have to sort of do work to make sure that my process doesn't accidentally appropriate the language of sexual assault, for example, for cases that may be kink boundary related, but not sexual trauma related, because the last thing I would want to do is trivialize or disempower words that are best used in their contexts.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that concept, because I think, for example, gaslighting is such a powerful word. It's very, very useful. And I think that sometimes people use it to mean you disagreed with me, and you're owning that you disagreed with me, versus trying to convince me that I should believe you because I'm wrong or I'm not seeing reality correctly. So I agree that it breaks it when it's used in ways that's not appropriate. It breaks down the value of the word and the power of the word. So some of the people watching this might not know what an accountability pod is. Can we come back and do a video on accountability pods and what they are?
I would love to do that.
Great. Thanks very much, everyone. If you like Victor's work, you can go to patreon.com/Victor Salmon and support his work. He's giving this away for free to help people support each other through this and learn and grow, and I really value that. And if you have questions or comments, please leave them below.
Thank you so much. Bye.